Moment of truth. Oh! Oh, man. Whew! That reeks of mice. Whew! Oh. Well, welcome my fellow riders to 2019. This is officially January 1st, New Year's Day. I hope that as you look back on 2018, you have fond memories of many joyful days of riding your favorite ATV or side-by-side. We're going to start this year off right by getting to work on Greg's TRX700XX. Again, we're going to start off here with just some basic routine maintenance. We're going to change all the fluids, check her over. As I mentioned before, the throttle is kind of stuck here, and I'm thinking it might just be the spring here in the throttle assembly here on the handlebar. We'll tear into that. We'll find out what's going on. I know for a fact that he said there was a mouse nest built in the airbox, so I'm kind of dreading opening that up to see what we find. But let's get to work, get this guy running, and we'll have a little fun then before we return this guy back to Greg. Well, let's get our seat off and see what we got here. Where's the latch? Oh, there's somewhere. There it is. Oh yeah, we already seeing evidence of mice in here. Wonder if I should get some gloves, maybe a hazmat suit? I don't know, let's pop this lid of our air filter, we'll see what we got. Moment of truth! Oh! Oh, man! Whew! That reeks of mice. Whew! Oh. Whew! Ah, that's better. Much better. So as you guys can see, Greg wasn't kidding when he said there was a giant mouse nest in here. We'll have to pull this air box, get her all cleaned up before we stick a new air filter in. We have a new battery for this guy. I think what we're going to go ahead and do to make this a little easier on us is I'm going to go ahead and pull the plastics. I mean, there's not much to this here, because it's looking like I'll have to do that to get to the air box bolts. So let's go ahead and pull some plastics. Looks like mostly Allen's. A couple probably looks like 12 millimeters here and there. And that way we'll be able to check stuff over a little better as well. We won't have the plastics in our way. Because we want to make sure this guy is ready to rip when we get everything back together, all the fluids changed, and hit the trail for the first time. Kind of a tricky place to put a battery. Shoo! Not much room in there. Oh, there's a... I think I shoved... Greg shoved the bag in there. I thought, oh no, the mice got a big nest clear up in there, but there's a bag in there. Greg must have thrown it in there to keep the mice out. Alright, come on, you want to come out? Let me get you out so I can give you a good cleaning. Oh, the mice have been in there. That's not inside. There we go. Yeah, you guys can see we got a little bit of stuff in there. Not too far in though. We'll clean her up good and suck all that stuff out of there. Luckily, cleaning up the throttle body here actually freed the throttle as well. That's where it was sticking because of the mouse mess in there. Alright. And right there we can get out the front sprocket while we're in here, which is a good thing. Won't be too bad. Alright, I think the next thing we're going to do while we have most of this tore apart, it's easy to get at stuff, is we'll go ahead and replace our sprockets. The front one will be easy. I can get right at it in through here, take this bolt off here, pop everything off. It'll make it easy to get the chain. The rear, however, is going to take some disassembly. We're going to have to pull the hub off, pull the A-arms off, the shock. Actually, I could probably do my 500 trick, hopefully. Just unbolt the shock, unbolt the A-arms, and take everything wholesale. So, let's get at her. Bushings seem to be in pretty good shape, so I don't think they're going to need replaced. Alright, we got enough apart now. We can get to changing this rear sprocket. These are not as difficult as you may think. What I do is I'll get in here and loosen these up from the bottom, because what you have is you have an Allen key here on the back. So I'll just rotate this, crack every one of these loose so the Allen's rotating. And then once you have all these loose, you can rotate this around to the front here so you can get your Allen key in there and get a socket from this side. Take this one loose and just spin her around to the next one. Do the same thing. You need to put your Allen key on the head of the bolt, and then you can get your socket on there and just work your way around. Once this is loose, then you can pull it out and down your axle and slip the new one on the exact same way. Now before I take all these bolts out, I'm going to leave some in there so I can hit this front sprocket with my impact, hold on to the wheel with my legs to keep stuff from spinning. I think my battery's dying. Oh, I'm out of juice. And once she's loose, just reach in here and take her off. Remove our chain. Get our rear sprocket out of there. And she'll pop right off of there. Check our spines out here good. Ah! So here's the stock sprockets we just took out. As you can see, this front one did have a broken tooth on it, and you can see how these guys are really worn. Same here as the rear. It's pretty worn. So Greg picked up some of these Moose Racing ones. They look to be the same as far as number of teeth. He hasn't changed the ratio or anything on these guys. They look to be just a direct stock replacement. So we'll go ahead and throw these new guys on here. Throw our new chain on here. And we're ready to put her back together and start reassembling. Then we can get to all the fluids and maybe go for a rip a little later on. Alright, add a little fresh grease here to the splines. Go ahead and install our front sprocket. Doop. Alright, slip our new rear socket. Oops, we're going to go top first so we can get it maneuvered in there. around our CV joint, being careful of our teeth. If you take your time and are careful, you can get this guy in around everything that you need to. Like that. There we go. There we go. Now let's just reinstall everything in reverse. Alright guys, so we got a front sprocket on, rear sprocket on. Now it's time to get the chain. Now this chain is longer than what we need. So what I did is I loosened my rear end adjustment screw, slid the differential forward just a little bit, so we'll be able to tell about where we need this. And then what we'll do is we'll measure here, figure out which link we need to cut, which will be, we'll have to get rid of this guy in here. And then we'll link her up. We'll adjust our rear end back so we get the roughly 3/4 of an inch tension in this guy that it says right here for you guys. Keep chain adjusted and lubricated 3/4 of an inch. So that means you should have about 3/4 of an inch free play here, up and down movement on the bottom when all is said and done. Spare chain. Alright guys, as you can see, we got our chain installed there. So now what we got to do is adjust our rear end so it'll slide back. We can get the proper slack in our chain and make sure everything's square and our axle isn't sitting in there one or the other. And this is super easy to do with this Honda. Here's our adjustment here. As you can see, this has a spin type thing here, which as I click into these different numbers, watch the chain. You'll see it get tighter. I don't know if you can see that or not. But anyway, that's how you adjust it. You just take this, make sure your main bolt in through here is loose, and then you just turn this till you get the proper slack. These are numbered, so then you can match your number on the other side to make sure you're square. And that should have you all set up, ready to rip. Alright guys, I think we're going to end that video right there. We'll call this part 1 of the TRX700 refreshening. Next time I see you guys when we're working on this, we'll go ahead and get the body panels back on, get our fluids changed, which that stuff shouldn't take too long because the most time consuming is what we got done today, the sprockets and the chain, just because you have to tear so much apart. Probably don't have to tear as much apart as I did, but I did so I could get in there and show you guys a little better with the camera. But yeah, next time we'll get the fluids changed, and we'll see how far we get on that video. Maybe we'll get the battery and the air filter in too, and get to take this guy for a rip. Hope you liked today's video. Don't forget to give me that good old thumbs up before you leave. Subscribe if you're new to my channel and not subscribed already, as well as hit that little notification bell so you never miss an upload. And as always guys, until next time, keep on riding.
Appalachian Mountain Riders is brought to you in part by the following. The Honda Side-by-Side Club, because who knows the machines better than the owners that use them every day. Walker Evans Racing. When the path requires more than just ordinary, head on over to walkerevansracing.com. Torque Locker from Torque Masters Industries. When you want to explore the unexplored, head on over to torquemasters.com. And by my gracious supporters on Patreon.